For nearly 2 decades, the disappearance of Madeleine McCann has remained one of the most discussed mysteries in modern history. Millions have followed the case, thousands of theories have emerged, countless questions have been asked. Yet despite all the investigations, media coverage, and international attention, one unsettling possibility remains. What if the most important piece of this puzzle has never been publicly recognized? In this third investigation, we return to Madeleine McCann case, not to repeat old theories, but to explore the unanswered layers that still lingers beneath the surface. So let's get into it. You see, the most dangerous mystery isn't the one with no clues. It's the one where the clues exist, but nobody realizes which clue matters the most. When people think about the Madeleine McCann case, they usually focus on a single question: what happened? But this reading points toward a different question entirely. What have we been looking at incorrectly all these years? One of the strongest themes appearing throughout the cards is structure. Institutions, authority, systems, adults making decisions. The energy here feels far less chaotic than many people imagine. Instead of randomness, the cards repeatedly suggest organization, layers, processes. People acting according to plans, routines, expectations, and assumptions. This is important because the reading repeatedly indicates that the central mystery may not be hidden by complexity. It may be hidden by perspective. Again and again, the cards point toward overlooked details rather than missing details. Not secrets buried underground, not impossible puzzles, but pieces that were visible from the very beginning, yet never fully understood. Another striking theme involves timing. Several cards suggest that key moments unfolded very quickly, moments where decisions were made under pressure, moments where opportunities appeared and disappeared almost instantly. The reading gives the impression of a chain reaction, not a single event, a sequence, one decision influencing another, one misunderstanding creating another, one missed opportunity leading to a larger mystery. The emotional energy surrounding the case feels surprisingly complex. There is grief here, yes, but there is also endurance. The cards repeatedly show persistence, people refusing to let it go, people continuing to search for answers long after logic suggests they should stop. This persistence may explain why the case became a global symbol, not because it's unique, but because it represents something universal. The fear that certainty can disappear in a single moment, the fear that a question can remain unanswered for years, the fear that truth and time are not always allies. Another interesting pattern appears throughout the repeated presence of influential figures. The reading symbolically suggests that multiple individuals held pieces of understanding, not necessarily complete answers, but fragments, perspectives, information that made sense only when combined with other information. And yet those pieces never fully formed formed a complete picture. As the cards move deeper, the theme of illusion becomes stronger, and together they create a symbolic atmosphere of uncertainty. Not deliberate deception alone, but confusion, competing narratives, people looking at the same facts and reaching entirely different conclusions. This may be one reason the case remains so emotionally powerful. Everyone sees a different story. Everyone sees a different suspect. Everyone sees a different answer. Yet nobody sees the entire picture. One of the most fascinating messages in the reading concerns collective memory. The card suggests that Madeleine has become more than a missing person. She has become a symbol of unanswered question, a symbol of unfinished stories, a symbol of humanity's discomfort with uncertainty itself. The final cards feel reflective rather than conclusive. They do not claim resolution. They do not promise revelation. Instead, they suggest that the central mystery survives because something essential remains just beyond reach, close enough to sense, close enough to imagine, but never quite close enough to fully grasp. And perhaps that is why, after all these years, the story still refuses to disappear. Because some mysteries are not remembered for their answers. They are remembered for the questions that continue to echo long after everyone expected them to fade. Thank you for watching.